So, a pleasant afternoon. In this chapter 8, we will discuss about the group processes. We will begin our exploration by asking the basic question, what is group? Why do people join group? And then we will focus on the three important aspects, the roles, norms, and cohesiveness. So, first, what is group? A group refers to two or more people who share common meaning and evaluation of themselves and come together to achieve common goals. Group is a set of individuals who have at least one of the following characteristics: direct interaction with each other over a period of time, joint membership in a social category based on sex, race, or other attributes, a shared common faith, identity, or set of goals. So every organization is a group. Yung example ng social category on sex, yun yung sa women and men. Then yung sa gender stereotypes naman nila, yung preference ng women daw is long hair, samantalang yung sa men is short hair. And then actually do sa chapter 5, na-discuss na din yung sa stereotypes, prejudices, and discrimination. Yung example ng social category sa race, yung sa Black American and yung sa white American. And then 'di ba na-issue yung sa racism na yung mga white American dinidiscriminate yung mga Black American kasi tingin nila sa Black American is mababang uri, tamad, walang alam, walang pinag-aralan. Samantalang pag white American ka, ang tingin sa'yo is mataas na uri, may pinag-aralan, matalino. Kaya yung mga Black American nagkakaisa na ipaglaban yung karapatan nila, yung group nila is pareho yung goal or objective nila. Kaya nagkakaisa sila. So, isang example din yung sa feminism. Di ba sila yung group ng mga kababaihan na pinaglalaban nila yung mga karapatan nila. Kaya dahil doon, nagkakaisa sila, nagkakaroon ng unity dahil pareha sila ng objective. So, ito lang yung mga example ng mga group, mga ilan lang sa example ng group. So, next is, what is collective? A collective is an assembly of people engaging in a common activity but having little direct interaction with each other, not a real group. Some social psychological processes are unique to real groups. However, others affect both groups and collectives. So in short, it is unified behavior of collectivities that it's neither expected or accepted. Yet, this should not mean that collective behavior totally lacks organization and random in its formation and direction. It is contrasted with group kasi di ba sa group, the activities and interaction is planned. It is recurrent, more enduring, and follows an orderly pattern with a relative stable set of goals and values. Unlike sa collective, unpredictable siya and lack of norms. Example ng collective when people are confronted with unfamiliar events such as highway accident, fire, or disaster, the collective behavior takes place. Yung behavior mo nagbabago depende sa nararanasan mo sa paligid mo. Example, yung sa sinihan pagkatapos natin manood, kalmado tayong naglalakad papuntang exit. Pero nung narinig mo yung fire alarm, biglang nagbago yung behavior mo na yung dating kalmado mo would change to panic na nagsisigawan at nagtutulakan papuntang exit. So collective can affect the behavior of individual in unfamiliar event. So next, why join a group? The complexity and ambitions of a human life require that we work in group. So sometimes, di ba, may mga complicated situation tayo na hindi natin kaya ng tayo lang. At may mga desire tayo na gusto nating ma-achieve pero hindi kaya as individual. Therefore, we may have an innate need to belong to groups to help us accomplish things that we cannot accomplish as individual. So next is key feature of groups. So once na you join a group, syempre andyan yung process of adjustment kung paano mo sila pakikisamahan, kung paano mo ma-adapt yung mga roles or norms nila, at kung paano mo gagampanan yung role mo doon as a member. So we will focus on these three feature of groups, the roles, norms, and cohesiveness. So first, Group roles. Social roles are the part of people play as member of a social group. With each social role you adapt, your behavior changes to fit the expectation both you and others have of the rule. People rules in a group can be formal or informal. Ang example ng formal group is yung sa large organization or company, may president and president. Yung sa informal rule naman, yung example nun is sa family or circle of friends. So, meron tayong two fundamental types of rules. Yung instrumental rules and expressive rule. Yung sa instrumental rule, to help the group achieve its task, ito yung nagpipay more attention to achieving whatever goals are important to the social group. Example, sa large company, yung role ng president dun is to exert control over employee and responsible for day-to-day management decision and strategies. Example din yung sa family, yung role ng father is to earn money to give needs of his family. Sa expressive role naman, ito naman yung to provide emotional support along managing conflicts, soothing hurt feelings, encouraging good humor, and take care of things that contributes to one's feeling within the social group. Example, sa family, providing emotional support, being responsible for the well-being of family and the socialization of children. Yung sa expressive ng mother is to perform most caring work in home, to provide love and support, while the father role is to work outside the home, provides a positive foundation. A rule or social rule is a set of connected behaviors, rights, obligation, beliefs, and norms as conceptualized by actors in a social situation. So next is group norms. Every group develops its own customs, habits, and expectation for how things will be done. This pattern and group norms, as they are something called influence the ways the member communicate with each other. Group established norms or rules of conduct for members. Example ng formal norm is yung sa written law sa school. Ang rule is dapat naka-uniform ka at may ID para makapasok ka. Pero kung hindi mo finalo yung rule, ang punishment, hindi ka makakapasok sa loob ng school. And then example naman sa informal, yung sa rule sa inyong bahay na dapat sabay-sabay kayo kumain at bawal gumamit ng gadgets. Ang punishment, pag hindi finalo yung rule na yun, grounded siya for 1 week, no allowance, at bawal lumabas ng bahay. So, yung sa tight culture naman at sa loose culture, yung sa tight culture, more rules and less crime. Example na ito yung, halimbawa, bawal pumatay ng hayop. Ang punishment is makukulong ka ng habang buhay. Ang tendency, matatakot ang mga tao na gawin yun kasi mabigat yung parusa mo. Maliles yung crime. Compare naman sa loose culture na dito naman, less rule, more crime. Example, bawal pumatay ng hayop. Ang punishment is magmumulta ka lang ng 1,000. Hindi ganun kabigat yung punishment. So, ang tendency, yung crime, tataas ng paulit-ulit lang yung mangyayari na crime. Kasi hindi nga ganun kabigat yung parusa. Yung group of norms can help a group na ma-achieve yung goals to provide order and predictability and social relationship and to make sense of and understanding of each other's action. So next is group cohesive. The forces exerted on a group that push its members closer together. Cohesiveness and group performance are causally related, but relationship is complex. So cohesion can be more specifically defined as the tendency for a group to be in unity while working towards a goal or satisfy the emotional needs of its member. Example, sa isang volleyball team may be very cohesive without liking each other personally, but because the players strongly pursue a common objective, naiisang tabi yung personal issue nila at nagkakaisa sila dahil iisa lang yung goal or objective nila. Pero para mas ma-increase yung group cohesion, you need to resolve the conflict and arguments between team and member. Kasi when group member feel they can trust each other. Yung group cohesive is more easily to develop. Yung pagkakaroon ng unity sa isang grupo is napakalaking tulong to accomplish well the task. So next is individual group, the presence of others. So dito pag-uusapan natin kung paano naapektuhan ng presence of others ang behavior ng individual. So first, yung social facilitations. Social facilitation refers to the finding that people sometimes show an increased level of effort as a result of the real imagined or implied presence. When others arouse us, how does the presence of others affect our behavior? And according to Norman Triplett, he noticed that cyclists tended to faster when they're competing with other competitors rather than when they alone and just competing the clock. And he also explained about the child alone and children in pairs but working alone. Their task was within a given amount of fishing line. And Triplet report na yung bata na may pair, they perform better than to the child alone. So yun yung sinasabi ng social facilitation. Presence of others improves performance. So yung dito naman, yung if yung sa dominant response is simply the response that is most likely to occur in the presence of the given arise stimuli. If a task is easily for the person, then the dominant response will be correct. And if the task is difficult, the dominant response is incorrect. So example, sa actor, yung binigay sa kanyang task is inaral niya, minemorize niya, yung lines niya. Ang tendency nun, pag nag-perform na siya sa stage, magiging simple na lang yung task na gagawin niya. Kasi sobrang familiar na siya dun sa task niya, and dahil alam niya na may audience at yung mag-i-evaluate sa kanya, mas gaganahan siya na mag-perform. Yung sa arousal niya might increase performance well and decrease performance complex. And then if yung actor hindi niya inaral at minemorize yung lines niya, ang tendency nun, pag nag-perform na siya sa stage, kakabahan na siya, yung behavior niya might increase impairment performance. So, dito naman sa mere presence theory, dito pinag-uusapan yung what sorts of behavior are improved by the presence of others and what sort impaired. People tend to experience social facilitation when they are familiar with a task or will learn skills. However, social inhibition decrease performance in the presence of others occurs to difficult tasks. Ito yung ini-example natin kanina about dun sa actor. Yung sa evaluation apprehension theory, someone must be in position to evaluate performance. Stereotype, threat, revise, cited. So, dito, tinetest naman yung performance mo to evaluate kung nag-i-increase ba yung performance mo pag may presence ng iba, katulad ng audience, competitor, or pag may observer. So, dito naman, why does social facilitation occur? Sa distraction conflict theory, tensional conflict between focusing on task and inspecting the distracting stimulus creates arousal. Maintains there is nothing uniquely social about social facilitation. So sa distraction conflict theory of social facilitation suggests that rather than the mere presence of other, it is the conflict between giving attention to a person and giving attention to a task, which affect performance. And this attention conflict motivates a person to pay more attention to the task, and therefore we will increase performance for simple learned tasks. And if the complex is impaired because of the unfamiliar task, performance of individual will produce habitual behavior of impairment. So example tayo ulit about dun sa musician. Yung musician binigyan ng task and sinabi na yung audience yung mag-evaluate ng performance niya. Ang tendency nun, yung musician, aaralin niya yung task na binigay sa kanya hanggang ma-familiar na siya dun, and dahil alam niya na may evaluation na mangyayari, yung performance niya bibigyan niya ng todo kasi ayaw niyang mapahiya. Gusto niya na mapuri mapuri. Kaya ang tendency ng performance niya is mag-i-improve. Compare naman do sa musician na nagkaroon ng conflicts to familiarize the task, yung performance niya magdi-decrease to incorrect. Kakabahan siya dahil hindi niya na-familiarize yung task. Ang result, poor performance. So, next. So, social loafing. So, we can also think about the presence of others when we're actually working with it. So, when we're working in groups and other people are contributing to the effort, and this is the idea that working with others can sometimes cause individual to reduce their effort. This is referred to as social loafing. Social loafing is the exertion of less effort by a person working together with a group. So this was first investigated by Max Ringelmann, and the way he did was he had people pull on ropes, and he measured people pulling alone and found that on average force that alone exert is about 139 pounds. But groups of 8 pulling on rope had an average force of only 546 pounds, and this means that each individual was contributing about 69 pounds of force. That's almost half to the force who is alone. Meaning each individual was exert less effort dahil alam nila na hindi sila nag-iisa, kampante sila, and feeling nila hindi naman masyadong magmamatter yung effort na binibigay nila kasi marami naman sila. So example din nito yung sa group work sa school. Dahil alam mo na may ka-group ka, hindi ka masyado nag-exert ng effort kasi feeling mo hindi naman makakatulong yung binigay mo, and kampante ka na matatapos nila yung task kahit hindi ka mag-exert ng more effort. Yun yung tinatawag na social laughing. So dito, makikita nyo sa figure 8.3 nung mas lumaki yung group nila, nag-less yung pag-exert nila ng effort, pag-cheer, kasi feeling nila hindi naman nagmamatter yung effort ng pagsigaw nila kasi marami nga sila. So tawag dun talaga is social loafing. So when is social loafing less likely to occur? People believe that their own performance can be identified and those evaluated by themselves or by others. The task is important or meaningful to those performing it. People believe that their own effort are necessary for a successful outcome. So yung example na ito yung sa thesis group, and may isang member na nag-exert lang ng less effort. Ang tendency para maiwasan yung social loafing, yung leader magbibigay ng specific task na sa bawat member, and dahil i-evaluate ng leader yung gawa nila, mag-exert sila ng more effort kasi alam nila yung task nila is magmamatter. Yung effort na gagawin nila is malaking part sa task para ma-accomplish nila ng maayos yung task. And dahil alam nila na may punishment if the performance is poor, doon mag-exert talaga sila ng effort kasi yung punishment, babagsak yung grades mo. Doon may iiwasan yung social loafing. So, sa collective effort model naman, individuals try hard on collective tasks when they think their efforts will help them achieve outcomes they personally value. So, dapat pag about sa group task, dapat lahat ng members na nagbibigay ng effort is nagmamatter para maiwasan nilang isipin na yung iaambag lang nila na effort is hindi naman makakatulong. So, dapat ang maramdaman nila, yung ginagawa nilang effort is dapat maramdaman nila na yung ginagawa nilang effort is para sa task. Ginagawa nilang effort para sa task is nagmamatter, or nakikita nila yung ine-exert mo na effort is malaking bagay para sa task na ginagawa nyo. So next is the individuation, the loss of a person's sense of individuality and the reduction of normal constraints against deviant behavior, a collective phenomenon that only occurs in the presence of others, what can lead to the individuation. So yung the individuation, yung is loss of self-awareness. So environmental cues, accountability cues affect the person's cost-reward calculation. Attentional cues focus a person attention away from the self. So ang accountability cues, pag low yung accountability mo, those who commit deviant acts less likely to be caught and punished. Example sa riot, kung yung mukha mo is may takip, ang tendency nun, hindi ka nila ma-identified or mahuli na kasali ka sa riot. Dun sa attentional cues naman, the individual less to internal standards of conduct reacts more to immediate situation and is less insensitive to long-term consequence of behavior. Behavior. So, dito, yung yung sa ano din yung factors ng de-individuation sa anonymity, ito yung identify is unknown, and then yung diffuse responsibility, dito sinasabi niya na I am not responsible for my action. Sa arousal naman, yun yung how excited the person. So sa group size, ito yung large group na nag-i-increase yung sa anonymity, diffuse responsibility, and yung sa arousal. So ito yung example dito yung sa trick or treat sa Halloween. Yung sa identified individual, anonymous, individual identified group, and anonymous group. So dito yung sa identified individual, naiisip niya na he knows who I am the only kid here. He will definitely know it was me if I took an extra. An extra wouldn't get noticed. So yung sa anonymous individual naman, he doesn't know who I am, but I am alone. If I stole, he still would know if it was me. I can steal more than one. So pag sa identified group naman, naisip nila na he knows who we are, but we aren't alone, so he wouldn't know who actually stole because we are in group. So we can take quite a lot then. And then pag sa anonymous group naman, yung naisip nila is we are anonymous and we aren't alone, and he would have no idea who actually stole because we are in anonymous group. We can take off all. So dito makikita nyo yung identified individual, anonymous individual, identified group, and anonymous group. So yung sa the result came out very well. The anonymous group condition for outnumber the other condition in terms of how many times they took more than 2 pieces of candy each. And the anonymous group of children took way more than 2 pieces of each. Sometimes even the interval of candies. And the anonymous individual and the identified group condition tied for second taking just more than 2 candies most of the time. And then yung the condition which broke the rule the least amount of time is yung sa identified individual condition, which took the least extra candy, as you can see when children came individually. So the individuation occurs when a person identity with a group override their own identity and self-awareness. It can lead to a mob mentality because the individuation tends to prevent critical thinking and dissent. People in groups often feel less individuation responsibility for their behavior and may feel that they will be able to act with more anonymity. So Mr. Bulena will continue this report. Thank you.